Hello friends! In this video, I want to show how to create custom hair for MetaHuman using Unreal Engine and Blender. In this case, we will make long hair for a female character. And I will also show some points on how to customize MetaHuman hairstyles. Standard hairstyles exist, it will all be in this video. Launch Unreal Engine. I launched version 5.2 since my MetaHuman was made for this version. Launch Unreal Engine 5.2. The program takes a long time to launch. We are waiting after starting the program. A window opens in which we select Game Third Person. Set the folder in which the project will be saved. Set the name in Latin without spaces and click Create. The project is created, but again you need to wait some time. In the project, create a new level, Empty Level. Click Create in the scene of this level. Let's create the floor on which our character will stand. Select the plus button and select Shapes. You can slightly increase the size of this rectangle. In this case, I take 7 by 7. Next, we need to place our MetaHuman through Quixel Bridge. Launch Quixel Bridge. If you already have a MetaHuman, select from your library. You will have the downloaded MetaHuman in the local folder. Those that you downloaded using the download button. You need to log into your account on Epic Games. You logged into your account. Download your MetaHuman for whom you want to do a hairstyle. You can also customize your MetaHuman. Now I will show how I do this. I choose platform 5.2 since I work in 5.2. Launch MetaHuman Creator, select the character that I want to customize, press Edit Selected. The interface of this tool is very simple and intuitive. And now I will show how you can correct the facial features. In this case, I want to correct the nose and oval of the face a little. I change the hairstyle so that everything is clearly visible, that all the changes I make are visible. With the help of the Sculpt tool, I change the shape of the face. They will not change very much since MetaHuman follow the anatomy of the face. I correct the nose, eyes, lips. Change the color of the eyes, the size of the pupil. And here is our MetaHuman saved. We can download it. The download takes a very long time. Therefore, I don't show this process. Now I want to show what kind of hairstyles there are in the MetaHuman Creator. In fact, there is not a very large selection of hairstyles. Very often there is a need to create your own hairstyles if the existing hairstyles do not suit you. You can create your own. This is what I teach in this video. Wait until our MetaHuman is downloaded, then press the Add button after downloading. All textures, all meshes are downloading, and when the window Missing Project Settings pops up, you need to click Enable Missing on all the windows. This way you turn on missing plugins. After that, you need to restart the project. I didn't save the level, so I save it. And the program restarted. I've already added the light source. Go to the content drawer, find our MetaHuman in the MetaHumans folder, and drag it into the scene. All the texture assets are loaded. You need to wait a while. This process is not fast. Therefore, the first time when MetaHuman loads, you will need to be a little patient. Here we have it in the scene. Now we need to position it at the center of the stage. It seems to me that the floor is very high. Now everything needs to be put in place. The floor should be under feet, yet in general we substitute all zeros for the floor. And for the character in the locations window, we set the light like this. I have a very wide angle camera. Now I need to change the focal length. I put it in this window, 30. Looks better. Click Edit Blueprint next to the name of our MetaHuman. Find and delete this standard hair. Save the changes using Compile and Save our character without hair now. We can export it to Blender. To do this, find the face folder. Right-click on the head mesh or double-click, open it. We need to make static mesh, save it in the same folder. Find the folder face and save it under a convenient name. Save, close this window. Find the just created static mesh and export it using the command asset actions export. Save it in the folder of your choice. In this case, I saved it in the folder where I created the project. Give a name. Well, I already have this file, I just resave it. Save it, and in the Save window, you will need to uncheck Level of Details. Go to Blender and import the newly created file. Turn off the animation. Export. Here is our head in the Blender scene. Keep the position, leave it as it is. We'll create a duplicate of the head. Firstly, rename the head mesh. Duplicate head, rename this duplicate as scalp and go to edit mode. Side view. Use lasso to select the area in which we are supposed to grow our hair. Using Ctrl+, you can increase the selection area. Right-click, Separate Selection. We separated the scalp, remove the unnecessary part and rename the scalp again. We delete all materials that came from Unreal Engine and create a new material. We apply any color to make the hair creation process more convenient, to see in which area we will extend the hair. Select the scalp, go to Edit Mode, select all vertices using Ctrl+A, UV, Unwrap. This way we make the UV unwrapping. Then select the scalp again, Shift+A, choose Curve, Empty Hair. Select the curve that we created and go to the sculpting mode. Open the settings for the curve and set the length. These are the settings I use. Turn on the symmetry collision. Add bunches this way using the Add button on the left side toolbar. Create a shape of hair using the comb tool. This process may take some time. You need to do it carefully, slowly. It took me a lot of time. That's why I speed up this process. And if you need more details, if you want to explore more how to create hair in Blender, write in the comments. I will do a separate lesson on creating the hairstyle in Blender. In this stage, I begin with just the back part. It's easier to manage since I've divided the scalp into multiple parts. First, I make the back part. Let's go to Render Settings, Curves, Set 3 for additional subdivision. Open the Asset Browser. The Asset Browser window provides access to hair-related modifiers. We apply Interpolation modifier to our hair. Just drag and drop the modifier onto the hair, then apply these settings. Choose for surface or scalp. This way we add a tuft of hair to each curve, spacing them at specific distances and in specific amounts. Then I just create new tufts of hair with the settings that we already have. There's no rush, just go step by step at your own pace. Since the full hairstyling workflow in Blender isn't the focus, I'm going through this part quickly. However, my main goal is to demonstrate how to use custom hair in Unreal Engine. Feel free to leave a comment if you'd like a more in-depth look at how the hair is created in Blender. I will create a new lesson if there are a lot of questions. The brush tool is super handy for selecting and adjusting individual strands. Select individual areas and correct them using brush tool. We can make the hair a little smoother using the Smooth tool. The back section of the hairstyle is nearly finished. Some more adjustments. You can add or remove tufts at any time using the Add and Delete tools. Exit the sculpting mode. It seems like I'm happy with the shape of hair. Then we create another section using Shift+A, curve, empty hair. I call it curve left. Go into sculpting mode and do the same thing, create new bunches. By the way, I advise you to make more bunches at the edges and on the hair partings, that in the future it all doesn't look like a bald spot, like a receding hairline. We make more bunches on the edges where the hairline begins, on the forehead, and where the parting should be. Set the shape. I make such waves of different sizes. The hairstyle should look natural, therefore you avoid making some identical shapes everywhere. You need to do some randomly. Strands can even get out of the hair somewhere. It's not scary, on the contrary, it adds a realistic appearance. Exit the sculpting mode. Select the back part, select the front part of hair, then apply Interpolate Hair Curves modifier from the back to the front using Copy to Selected command. Keep in mind, first you need to select the back hair from which you want to copy the modifier settings, and then select the one to which you want to apply the modifier settings. Here I use two modifiers, Interpolate Hair Curves and Clump Hair Curves. Clump Hair Curves helps to narrow the hair tips. You can observe the effect here. Add a third section of hair. You can select and adjust individual strands using the brush tool. copy the modifier settings. There's an empty spot here that we need to adjust slightly. I hide the back section to make adjusting easier. I add a couple of bunches and so my empty spots are closed. Display the back part again. A tiny adjustment in the form looks pretty good. There is no limit to perfection, as they say. I am constantly improving. I am constantly changing something. I want to create a seamless transition between these two sections. I'll make a strand of hair that sticks out a little from the tuft. Here we lift the roots of the hair. Smooth it a little. We're creating the next section of hair, specifically the right part. Here I'm creating a strand that will be tucked behind the ears. In this asymmetrical hairstyle, one ear will be visible. Here I lengthen my hair using Grow Shrink tool. Apply the modifier settings. Copy from another bunch of hair. And adjust strands so that the hair does not have intersections with the body mesh, so that they flow around the body. Adjust the place behind the ears like this. Once again, let's check all the settings. A little correction here. It turned out a little clumsy. The transition needs to be smoothed. Well, that's it. Now we need to apply all the modifiers on all the curves that we created. We need to apply the modifiers using the Apply button from this list. Just in case, you can make duplicate curves before applying modifiers. Select all curves. In the top menu, select Object, Convert, Particle System. Then go to the modifiers and in the Particle System tab, change the settings to the following. Turn off Show Emitter checkbox and in the Path tab, increase the step from 3 to 7. It makes our curves smoother, no broken lines. 7 is the optimal step value for such hair. Next, select the scalp, export to Alembic format with the following settings. Scale must be increased to 100 frame from 1 to 1. Uncheck all the checkboxes in the Geometry tab. In Settings tab, select Viewport and Export. Go to Unreal Engine. We need to import hair. Select the Alembic file we just created. Click Import. Here we have an error. Why is this happening? Because we do not have the Groom and Alembic Groom Importer plugins connected. They both need to be enabled. They should be enabled if you get this error. Make sure these plugins have check marks enabled. Go to the MetaHuman folder, and in the hair folder, we need to add hair with these settings. Be sure to have these settings, otherwise your hair will be upside down and mirrored. If you have symmetrical hair, it's not scary. But if it's symmetrical, then it's better to change this setting. We'll set the location to 0 and our hair will be in its place. We'll save it. Now we'll need to customize our hair. Find it in the hair folder, double-click Open it. And here we'll need to change some settings. Curve decimation settings will need to be changed to 0.3. Hair has become sparser, but it's not scary. We'll change it now. Go to the Strands tab. We'll need to increase hair root scale, the thickness of the hair at the roots. The thickness of the hair at the tips needs to be decreased by hair tip scale, reduced to the very minimum. This way, we avoid a bold appearance at the roots. The hair will appear denser at the base and thinner at the ends, which adds realism to the overall look. Next, we need to enable the simulation so the hair becomes part of it and reacts accordingly. Now, if we check how it looks on the character, the hair falls in this way. We'll need to adjust the gravity settings. Go to the External Forces tab and change gravity to -100. This is optimal for me. You can choose from -100 to -300. Depends on your preferences. Let's add the material for the hair. In the Material tab, click on None, then search for mi_hair. You can choose any material from the list that appears. I take the first one. This is the default hair material that comes with MetaHuman by default. Now let's adjust the hair's color and glossiness dot. There are a lot of parameters. I didn't touch them all. I just changed a few parameters. Hair melanin controls how dark or light the hair appears, while hair roughness affects how shiny it looks. There are various settings to experiment with. For example, you can fine-tune the color of the hair's shine to suit your needs. In general, you can make the hair gradient, but I didn't bother with it. You can create a hair shade, but it's difficult to see it on black hair. I enter the parameters manually. The smaller the number, the lighter the hair. I prefer in this case darker hair, between 0.6 and 0.65. I'm happy with brown hair like this. I'm not used to navigation in Unreal Engine, and that's why all the objects always run away somewhere. Save the material that we just set up. Save the hair mesh. Save and close this window. Then we need to associate the hair with the head mesh. Find our hair in Content Browser. Right-click, Create Binding, select in Groom Binding Type tab the mesh of our head. Click Create. A window opens in which you can see that Groom is our hair, Target Scale is our head mesh. Close this window. Open the Character Settings window via Edit Blueprint. Here we need to click the Add button, then in the search box type Groom. Rename it immediately to New Hair. You can give the name you prefer. And then you will need to move these new hair to the face section. I need to drag and drop new hair on the face name. So our hair will appear in the face section. In the Detail tab, select our hair. In the Groom Asset list, choose the hair. In the Binding Asset list, select the groom binding you just created, then click Compile. Save and close this window. We've successfully linked the head with the hair. Let's try moving the character, otherwise the hair moves along with the character and is simulated beautifully. The separate hair can be deleted. This is how custom hair is created for MetaHuman. Please, if you liked it, click like and subscribe to my channel. See you.